Hey, this is Janel, and welcome to another in-car movie review. Today I went to see The Darkest Minds, and pretty much this is the worst dystopian young adult movie to come along. It doesn't hold a candle to Divergent, and it definitely does not hold a candle to The Hunger Games. Now, typically these young adult novel movies revolve around a dystopian government or business or some governing power that ostracizes kids and creates this system of putting them into castes. And this one doesn't want colors. It's like one of the less original ideas. The reds are dangerous, the orange are most dangerous, greens are intelligent, and blues are telekinetic, and orange can manipulate electricity. But there's a lot of problems with this movie. I can't say anything about the book series. One just came out. But at least in the movies, it's just too simplistic for me. And for me, it was very, very violent, as opposed to the other Hunger Games and Divergent series, because the kids were, after they were rounded up, they were put inside the concentration camp type of thing, and they would kill the orange and the reds right off. And, you know, the green, blue, yellow people can stay and toil in this kind of a prison where they have the latest boots for the army or whatever, and had a lot of holocaustic similarities because the Jewish people in the concentration camps worked for German companies like Krups and Volkswagen and Mercedes-Benz, and really, those companies haven't come to terms with what they did during the World War II, because it was horrible forced labor. Leaving that aside, you know, I have sort of a policy, right? And I'm older than the demographic of this film. I think most people were around 12 or 15, and I'm almost triple that age. So, having cerebral palsy, when I was born, they were still putting kids in institutions and with cerebral palsy, regardless of how intelligent you are, i.e., whether you can go to school. And I was one of the first two people in my town to go to public school from kindergarten to college. I grew up in a good state where we were closing down our state facilities, and that's my fate. I was able to go to college, but I know that in New York, Massachusetts, other states, they currently, well, maybe not Massachusetts, but they currently are still putting children in institutions, and these children don't learn anything. You know, they don't learn how to exist in average society, and that's a bad thing, because eventually they're going to have to get out as an adult, and they don't have any skills, and they're really hobbled in a greater society because they don't know how to do stuff, maybe even ride the bus, like everyone else does. They can do these other things, but they haven't been taught how to do anything. And that was a stronger pull for me, and it was scary because I work for people with disabilities, and I've taught them things about self-reliance and just how to become more independent, because I want them to be as close to me or a non-disabled person in their expectations about society and getting a job and moving out on their own and all this stuff that an average person would do. And this film, The Darkest Mind, was kind of a trigger for me because here they were doing the same thing. And in the book or the movie itself was kind of short-sighted because all the children were taken away and grouped into different color categories, and a world without children is a dead world because, let's face it, people are going to get old and dying, and there's no generation to take over society because they're all imprisoned. It's just way too short-sighted. And it just doesn't work for me. It was way too violent, and I could bond with the character, but they just seemed too weak. The whole story seemed too weak. I mean, the actors were wonderful, I enjoyed them, but the story was letting the whole movie down. Maybe it was a screenplay, and it had all the right things for a dystopian movie, like Us Against the World, or Only We Can Fix Ourselves, Don't Trust Anyone Over 30, like they used to say in the 60s. Yeah, so this one didn't work, and I doubt there's going to be a sequel. I think this movie is probably one of the first ones to garner my new rating system, which is this one would be swept out with the popcorn. So if you like this, click like, subscribe, and my bell for notifications. Visit my links in the comment box below, and I'll see you at the movies again.
Doing this together, every step we take closer to